welcome you to the summer, it's nice and hot, of 1778. We are in Virginia, so you've got to use your imagination. Get rid of the sound of the M62, get rid of the pylons, they're not there, they haven't been invented yet. So we need to use your imagination to take you back in time. Now where we are is actually near the James River. So if you can imagine, we're in the valley, James River is down there, it's a river you can bring your ships up. The city of Richmond is where Bradford is. And this is a very important place for the Americans because this area is one of the areas where they raise a lot of cash crops. We actually grow tobacco, we grow cotton in this area, which we can sell internationally to raise money for our war effort. Now the British, they want to stop us doing that. So what they do is a series of raids coming up the river and coming up the valley and burning the farms. Now Oakwell Hall itself this weekend is the Bat Plantation. So if you know the local history, the Bat family hold Oakwell Hall. They were ruined by the Civil War, the English Civil War, and a lot of the family went to America to start again. And they founded the Bat Plantation outside Richmond, Virginia, above the James River. It was raided by the British, and this is what we're going to see today. Now, Captain Bat, at the time, because the family had been in America now for about 50 years, he was a naturalised American. So when it came to choose what side he was going to be in the war, he decided on choose the American side. So he became Captain Bat of the American militia, and he commanded a militia company. Now the militia are what I'm dressed like. So I'm in my normal clothes from home, but I've got an issue musket, I've got a cartridge pouch, I've got a bayonet. But I'm expected to turn out from home when the British or our enemies are in the area, which is what we've done. We've been called out to try and defend the Bat Plantation area. Luckily, we've got some of our allies, which is the French, who have just come into the war with us. They've been supplying us with arms and equipment, but now they are here in force themselves. And we have a small detachment of professional soldiers. Now remember, the militia, we're not professional, we're part-time. Really, if I could avoid this war completely, that would be good. But our officers know that. They know that our morale is not great, our training is not great. So which is why they've deployed some regular French to give us some backbone, because they think that's going to help us fight better. And that's the plan. Now we know from reports there are some British in the area, and they're either coming to raid the plantation or they're a straggling party on their way up to the main column, which we know's upriver. So our plan is that we're going to hide out in the bushes, in the trees, and as they come up, we're going to ambush them. And we're going to try and wipe them out and capture them. And capture their equipment and their muskets, because we're short of these and we need some more equipment. So that's our plan. So of course, if you see any British, don't say we're here. Okay. Now I'll give you a little talk by our French colleague, just to give you a bit of an introduction about what they're doing.
Well, I mean, the French, as my learned, esteemed militiaman colleague has said, the French were heavily supplying the Americans. The 18th century is a bit like a game of chess between the British and the French, and they keep trying to find ways to annoy each other. And let's do that and do that and do that and do that, and take this colony and attack there. And the American Revolution, really, as a Frenchman, as an average French person, I have more in common with the redcoat than I do with the American. But we don't like them, enemy of my enemy and all that. And so the French government decided, you know what's going to really annoy the British? If they lose America. We've already taken bits of America off us during the 7 Years' War, the French and Indian War. So the French government starts sending money. When it starts off small and becomes very big, they end up being joined by the Spanish. In the first couple of years, they end up sending just shy of 7 million livres, which is not a small amount of money. They also send equipment, they send uniforms and weapons, And by 1778, it's become very clear that the British are not winning this. And the French decide, well, let's just do it properly, why not? And they send soldiers over. They send soldiers from Saint-Domingue, from Haiti, the Caribbean, and they also send fresh soldiers over from France. And this backbone of professional soldiers who are trained. They are volunteers, but they are trained soldiers. The training regime was very intense. They were equipped well. They were aware of what they were going into. They were by no means experienced in the way the British, maybe the Americans certainly were, but they brought a professional streak to the American-French army. So when they got to sieges, ambushes, big line warfare, they were ready for it. And the French, to their credit, did say they didn't like guerrilla warfare. They didn't like the idea of ambushing. They felt it was unsporting. Because it is, isn't it, really? If you can't see the guy, that's a bit mean. But they happily indulged, and particularly in the trenches, trench warfare around sieges, they were really useful because they brought engineers and artillery and men experienced in this form of warfare. So what we're going to do as French soldiers is, we're happy to ambush, sure, but we want to get stuck in, really. We're grenadiers. I've got a sabre, a bayonet, and a nice red plume to show that I'm scary. So I'm hoping we can get stuck in as soon as we can, but we'll have to see, really, won't we?
Yeah, we'll be behind you. all the way. So, before we start, as you say, we're going to give you a bit of a safety note. Remember, just
Go for the British!
Go all the way.
Again? Go all the way down. Are we stopping?
It is
down.
I'm sure we'll be moving in a minute. We're trying to get over.
You go there. Thank you. There you go, Will. You can see now. Oh, you're all right there.
Stay on the edge of it.
Right, ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls, the treacherous rebels and their French allies, I'm going to introduce you to a small section of His Majesty's forces, typical of the British redcoat in America. Order! March! Stand easy. So we're representing a detachment of soldiers that have been into the rear of the army, who are now straggling behind, picking up those that have been wounded or sick in hospital, which has happened quite frequently in America. And we, for this scenario, are heading back to the main column. So you can see the men. We've got late from the 33rd Regiment, and we've picked up two comrades from His Majesty's 22nd Regiment. And it's a nice view. You can see the difference on the uniforms. Have red, all red, following, and his average service was between 7 and 15 years. These are not conscripts. The British Army are not, I repeat, not conscripts. They are a professional body of soldiers. Every man who fought in America wanted to be there. He joined and then took the chance. The Army gave a very lucrative and prosperous career, provided, of course, you're not caught in war at the time. When the war broke out in America, the argument forward, and we will carry the King's argument for him, if needs be, at the point of the bayonet, and give these moaning, whinging colonials a good lesson. So let's not forget that. So it's a very, very unpopular war, because it's seen we're not fighting Americans, we are fighting fellow British subjects, and that's the key with the cruel irony of the war. So we're going to go forth now and bid you all farewell. We're going to get back to the column. Have you seen any rebels at all? No? Yes? Have you seen any rebels? No! I'll take you at your word. And God help you if you're lying. Right, section, parade, shoulder, arms.
You go.
Quick step, arms easy, boys. Arms at will.
Well, we just keep watching.
Main column is down
See what
there.
happens.
Okay, ladies, are you all right?
Heavy. Yeah, pick it up so you can see it. Look, over there.
Caravan film.
That's on the right.
Where's the from one? Can't do much. Oh, it's slowly retreating now. Oh, they're actually coming out of the trees now. Finally! Imagine when the plants hit you in the face. That's depressing. Why are you shooting? Oh, I know what they're doing now.
Got one.
Why are you going to go to the side?
Very good, nice quietly.
got more.
Give us a cheer! Shall we finish them off? Right, sailors ready! Sensible of that! Quick, fast!
Stop in a minute. I need to borrow your towels They're starting again.
Amanda.
What? I was going to say capture.
Right, so there you go. Let that be a lesson. Like any typical American rebel, they've run away because they don't like the bayonet. It's this rebel was actually born in Warwickshire, but he actually emigrated to America. So this is what I was saying to you before, is that we are not fighting Americans. He is a British subject, and he's now rightfully sorry, aren't you? Yeah, yes you are. So let's have a big round of applause for everybody. Skirmish you might have seen in America in 1780. We'll invite you please to, once we've left the site and go into our respective camps, please do come and pay us a visit, talk to the soldiers, come and examine some of the arms and the equipment that we carry. It's the, and then you can learn a little bit more about the subject, the period, which is not very often taught these days, and about an army we've forgotten about. Nearly 25,000 British soldiers served in America, but because we lost America, it was deemed a dishonour. So these men were forgotten. In fact, our battalions now, we're not even allowed to carry our battle honours and our regimental colours from America. It's a great dishonour. It's the which even today smarts with us greatly in some regiments. So thank you very much for your time. Please do, as I say, do come along. Do speak to the French. They don't smell too much. And please again, we are the British. We're camped separately, just over onto one side. So thank you very much, ladies and gentlemen.
Regular and green. Oh, no.
Sections on a bed. The sections forward. Arch. Break step. Through the gap. Watch the wire. Take them out, cough, and work the way we came into the field. And a big round of applause for the ladies as well. And the rebellious rebels! Vive le roi!
I would have stayed dead, but I have a vintage Bordeaux waiting for me.
Not a bit like